Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to share with you my biggest pet peeves. And of course, I'll tell you a couple of stories. I personally love these storytime videos and I love telling stories myself. So, grab a cup of coffee or any other drink you like, make yourself comfortable and enjoy. There's a great podcast that I listen to from time to time. It's called Absolutely Not. So the host, who's a comedian, shares her pet peeves and stories and invites guests and they share their stories. It's funny, witty, and very straightforward podcast. It's not sponsored, just a recommendation if you'd like to listen to something like that. I have quite a few pet peeves of my own, but before we get into it, I want to say something very important, a little disclaimer. Because I'm going to be talking about the things that other people do that drive me crazy or spark some reaction in me, I want to say that it's not those people's problem. It's mine. Because if I don't like something, it's my problem. And if I don't like some things that other people do, it doesn't mean that I dislike those people. We can all sometimes behave in a way that can cause some negative reactions in other people. Okay, now that we've clarified this, let's start. And number one on my list will be dirty mouths. I mean literally a dirty mouth when a person is eating, especially something creamy or oily, and it smears on their cheeks and chin. I mean, come on, use a darn napkin. I always wonder, don't they notice that there's something on their face? And here's a little story. When I worked at the market, this woman swung by with some fast food, and her face was covered in fat, and her hands were so dirty with that fat, and she was touching stuff that I was selling. And she kept biting on that fast food and talking with her mouth full. Can you imagine that picture? That image is imprinted in my memory for good, and she didn't even buy anything. You ask me why I didn't say anything? Because I was a lot younger, too freaking polite, and in shock, honestly. So this thing with the dirty mouth has started a long time ago. I didn't like it for as long as I can remember myself. I mean, it really bothers me. I remember when I was little, my childhood friend knew about this thing and she would very often purposely smear sour cream or butter, which I can't stand, by the way. She would smear it all over her face just to drive me crazy or make me want to puke. I just always want to say, use napkins, people. Number 2 on my list are too chatty taxi drivers. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind talking with people, and I do talk with taxi drivers, but I don't want to talk about politics, and I don't want to hear how hard being a taxi driver is, and I don't want to get to know everything about your family in one drive. I personally love just listening to some podcasts while I'm on my way somewhere, and I think of my ride as of these precious minutes of silence and peace, but there are people that just talk nonstop. And if you normally can tell someone, okay, I gotta go, bye, see you later, here you're in a car in a closed space with another person. And I don't want to hurt their feelings or be rude. And also, I'm afraid that they'll get mad and start to drive inadequately. I know that some people feel uncomfortable being in silence with other people around, but I'm totally fine with this. I love silence. With that being said, listening to music really loudly while you're with a client in a car isn't the best idea either. I may have a headache. I may not like that music. At least ask. And I don't even want to talk about smoking in the car or being on the phone while you're driving. I think it's obvious that it's bad. Number 3, don't touch me. If you're a stranger, don't touch me. Keep your distance. I'm very protective of my personal space, and it has nothing to do with our current situation and social distancing. I've always been like this. I mean, when we meet each other for the first time, we can shake hands, of course, maybe even have a hug, but no kisses for sure. However, if someone wants to ask me a question on the street, there's no need to grab my hand to ask me a question or come very, very close to me to ask me something or to say something. In general, there's just no need to stand very close to someone, like when in line, for example. You know, lady, this line ain't gonna move any faster if you breathe down my neck. Number 4, all talk, no ears, people. Have you ever had to talk to a person that asks you a question but then interrupts you and starts talking about themselves and doesn't listen to your answer? Or even when they listen, their demeanor shows that they don't care about what you're saying and are just waiting for you to finish? They're also called conversational narcissists. And then, yeah, it gets even better. The next time you see them after you've figured out this pattern in their behavior and think that is just not worth your time, energy, and frustration, you won't want to talk much and just give short answers like fine, not much, and don't ask them anything. They might say that you're being rude or have changed or have become arrogant and all fancy pants, or just get offended. Sometimes you can't simply cut such people out of your life and it just annoys you. And all you want to say is, "Are you kidding me?" But you're a polite person. Number 5 on my list is my baby. Listen, I'm a mama bear. If I consider you a threat to my child, you're going down, man. I do not tolerate any kind of inappropriate behavior from a stranger towards my child. I don't need to hear from a stranger how to parent my kid. Nope. Keep it to yourself if I didn't ask you. And if I say to my kid, no, don't interfere and don't tell me, oh, but just this one time, he's a baby. Or God forbid, say yes to what I said no to behind my back. I think you got the idea. I feel very strongly about this. There are people that I look up to and listen to their advice, but definitely not a stranger who thinks they know better. If you watched my video that is called Don't Give a Stranger's Child Food, you already know my point of view on this. I'll link it in the description if you haven't watched it yet and if you're curious to hear my crazy stories. Even yesterday, we had a situation with a woman that interfered when Alex had a meltdown. He got frustrated that we got off the bus and we were trying to explain the situation and calm him down. She started asking him if he wanted to be spanked, and if not, he needed to calm down right away. Number 6, people who stand in your way. Let me explain. You're walking on a sidewalk, which is not super wide, and there are some people that just stop on it to chat with each other. Or they're just walking in a way that you can't get around them. When you come up to them very closely, they don't let you through, and then when you ask to let you through, they give you the look. Or when people stand in front of a doorway and you can't get in or out, or in the supermarket in the aisle. They're just ignoring people around them and creating obstacles for others to get to products. To me, this is so obvious that you just have to move aside. Not everybody, to be clear. There are people that can simply be very focused on the conversation they're having, that they just don't see anything around them. And when you ask them to let you through, they gladly do this smiling. The last and the silliest thing on my list is clicking your nails. If you want to drive me crazy, though I don't know why you would want to do that, all you have to do is to click your nails, and my reaction is out of my control. All I want to do is punch a person in the face for that. Weird, right? I don't know why. And also, unfortunately, it happens to be my husband's habit. So I guess you figured out who I want to punch in the face most times. I've never done that, just to be clear. So, who feels me on my pet peeves? Let me know in the comments and share yours as well. I'm very curious. Just let it all out. Get it out of your system. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. Click all those buttons, and I'll see you in the next one.